We'll just start up front. It does have one 12-volt battery on the front of the unit. It does also have a battery disconnect in the front off-door side compartment. We have the two 20-pound propane cylinders that are full except for what we use to service the trailer. The regulator's pointed towards this one over here. It's green inside the eye. As soon as this tank would happen to come up empty, it's going to turn red inside the eye, indicating that the bottle it's pointed to is empty. If the cylinder on the other one's already open, it'll automatically pick up from that one so you don't lose your service in the middle of the night. Still going to show you red inside the eye. The one it's pointed to is empty. It'll automatically pick up from the one on the opposite side. Then all you have to do is spin the arrow over to that side there, take this bottle off, take it down, and have it refilled. We do have a light for hooking up at nighttime and an up and down button for running the jack up or down to take it on and off the vehicle. It does have a fusible link on the side, and it does also have a manual crank handle that comes in from the top that will manually crank that jack up or down. Before you take that crank handle out and jack that, you might want to check to see that the fuse is good. If the fuse is good, then you might have to take the manual crank handle out. Always check the fuse first. As we start down this side here, it does have a propane cover. It's got the quick disconnect up at the top. It doesn't have the bungee cord that goes underneath. It is a little heavier duty bottom cover than normal. As we start down this side, in the very first compartment on the outdoor side is the battery disconnect up top. And then we have a digital solar panel readout right below that that shows you the different settings on it, but it does also show you what the solar panels is putting out to the battery. Go ahead and leave that door open. We're going right down past that. We do have a second termination valve up here in the front that is for the kitchen sink water only. Right before you get to the back axle, there is the drain to the freshwater tank. Lug nuts on the trailer have been torqued at 100 foot-pounds. Tire pressure is up to 65 pounds. Cold on the side of the trailer. They also have the nitro gas in them instead of having air. But if you're out on the road and one would have to come low, you can put air in on top of it. But if you want the pure nitro fuel, you have to take it back to like a Plaza Tire or a car dealership. Have it suck the air back out, put the gas back in. Second termination valve here in the back has your second gray handle, which will be your bathroom, shower, and sink water. And then your black handle in the back will be your toilet water. Next connection back is the outside of the Suburban Insta-Heat hot water heater. It does have a switch on the lower right hand side. Has to be in the on position for the inside controls to work. I'll show you the back of it when we get to the inside. I'm going to go ahead and close that door. It does have a 50-amp power cord. Goes on, quarter of a turn, tighten up the black knob. On the other end of the cord, there's two blue lights indicating that it has two 110 lines coming into it that it is charged. We also have a outside shower here in the back that gives you hot and cold running water back here to the back side of the trailer. It is also prepped for a backup camera up top. And it is also prepped for the Lippert extendable ladder. Part cable hookup to the top connection. The one right down below it is a satellite hookup for the living room area. On your water fill compartment, your top connection is your black tank flush. Anytime you hook to an outside connection, you need to have a pressure regulator on your hose before you hook to it. Cuts the water pressure down between 41 and 45 pounds of pressure. Keeps it from blowing the lines loose on the inside of the trailer. Left hand side is your city water connect that you can hook to with a water hose and regulator and never have to fill the freshwater tank off it. Work right off the pressure going to that hose. And on the right side is your freshwater tank connection that will fill the freshwater tank. When I'm filling the freshwater tank, I hook to that and I go in and I push the fresh button on the monitor panel and I watch it fill up 1/3, 2/3 full. Once it hits full, I come out and turn the water pressure off going to that connection so you don't overfill the tank. We have our two low water drain points here in the back of the unit. The next connection up is for the stabilizer jacks that are electric. Extend runs the jacks down. until they hit the ground and snug them up. Now there is also a manual way to crank them jacks back up or down. For any reason they won't work off the switch. And it is on the off door side. Dead center of the middle of the jack. But that's the way you manually crank the jacks up or down. For any reason they won't work on their own. We're going to skip right by the door for right now. It does have two outside speakers. I'll show more about the speakers when we get to the inside on the stereo. But you can take your inside TV, bring it to the outside, slides right down in the same bracket that's on the inside. Hook to the park cable or antenna hookup down below it, and a 110 outlet to plug the TV into, so that you can watch the ball game on the outside underneath the canopy. Outside of the furnace is next. Sucks cold air in the top, hot air out the bottom. I always suggest putting the mud dauber screen over the outside of the furnace for the simple fact the mud dauber screen is only less than 15 bucks. It's $145 an hour for every hour that you have to take the furnace out and clean the daubers out of it. So that's a real wise investment. We also have the little latch on the side for the doggy and a porch spray hose on this side over here that gives you cold water on this side of the trailer only. Two little tabs up here on the outside of the stove vent have to be lifted up, allows the flapper to flap, but when you get ready to travel you'll want to push it back down and lock it into place. On your outside kitchenette there is your blue hose for the porch spray on this side of the trailer, the black hose for the outside grill. This refrigerator is 110 only, has to be plugged into 110 for this refrigerator to cool down on the outside. We're going to pull the grill out. Once the grill's out, it does have a red handle on the right hand side that comes down and locks it into place. Quick disconnect hose comes around to the back, slides up on there, clicks into place. The hose will go down between the grill and the outside connection, comes down and hooks to the first connection underneath the trailer. Quick disconnect in on it too. Once it's connected over there, you have a T-handle up on top that has to be turned in line with the gas line for having gas coming from the bottles on the front of the trailer. Before you put the grill back inside, you need to touch the top of it to make sure that it's cold to the touch of the hand. Lift the red handle up on the safety latch, slide her back into place. One more switch up here in the front that runs the front stabilizer jacks up and down. Inside the front compartment, there is a light on this side over here. There's three handles in the trailer. The little one's for the jack, tongue jack on the front. That one there's for the slide room, and this one here does your electric jacks front and back, slotted on the end. Black switch off to the right hand side turns your little set of LED lights on the front cap on. We're going to go back to the front door. We're going to open the handle up, open the door fully extended. Little blue handle on the left hand side loosens the steps from the door frame, allows it to slide out. Little push button underneath each one of the legs. There's 15 to 18 slots in the legs for adjustment for the steps. The main thing on the steps is once they come out and lay down, they have to lay flat in the threshold so that the front door fits over the top of it properly and doesn't rub. To achieve that, you can adjust the legs down at the bottom. The main thing is the steps have to be flat in the threshold so the door fits over it properly. Now we're going to go up inside the unit. We'll go ahead and run that slide room out. It's always good to make sure there's not a tree or a vehicle pulled up alongside of you. Good deal. We're going to come back up to the top. The top connection is for your Suburban Insta-Heat. The outside switch has to be in the on position. Then you'll come in here, you'll tap that, and it'll tell you the temperature that the hot water heater will run. You can adjust the temperature up or down. When it's running, it'll have a little fan right here, and it'll tell you the temperature of the water coming out of the hot water faucets. If it's not hot enough, you can always dial it up, or you can dial it back down. You don't want it to get it to where it scalds you when it comes out of the faucet, but you do want it to be hot. Right down below that is the monitor panel. On the monitor panel, each thing is marked itself. Freshwater tank showing you that it's empty. As it fills up with the water hose in the back connection, it'll show 1/3, 2/3 full. Once it hits full, I usually turn the water pressure off going to the hose. Your second button is for the battery. To give you a reading on the battery, you have to have the 110 line unplugged and then push the battery button. Anytime you push the battery button and it's plugged into 110, it's going to show you fully charged. Your black water tank is your next one, which is your toilet water. Shows you that it's empty. As it fills up, it'll show 1/3, 2/3 full. Gray tank 1 will be your kitchen sink water only. Has its own termination valve up front. Gray tank 2 is for your bathroom sink and shower water, and it does not have the auxiliary tank in this unit. The first red switch down below turns the water pump on between the freshwater tank and the faucets. Your second red switch turns your little set of heaters underneath the unit, underneath each one of the holding tanks. The next switch turns your LED lights underneath your awning, and the last switch turns your living room lights on. The two switches down below it, the first one on the left hand side runs your awning in and out, and then the second switch right beside it runs your main slide room in and out. I'm not going to go ahead and run the awning out right now because it's getting kind of windy outside, but it also has a working fire extinguisher right down below that. As we step around the corner, we have 3 remotes. The little remote with the red button turns the fireplace on. You can change the temperature from off to low and high. You can change the color of the rocks down in the bottom. If you leave the rocks in the green setting, they will automatically keep changing and rotate through all of the settings. You can change the color of the flames from 1 to 4. And then there's also a timer on it, so you can run it for a half hour up to 9 hours. Red button turns it on and off. Middle size remote runs your stereo. On your speakers, you have zones 1 and 2. Zone 1 is your inside speakers. Zone 2 is your outside speakers. The bigger remote turns the TV on and off. We're going to go ahead and turn it on. Since it's storming outside, it don't have a good clear picture as I'd like, but it is also 80 miles away from here. But that's not too bad off the antenna on top and the power booster. Right down below there is your LP carbon monoxide regulator. If it smells LP, it'll be 1 continuous beep. If it's carbon monoxide, it beeps 2 times in a row. Up underneath this side here, there is a latch that has a hidden compartment in behind the entertainment center. The light up in the ceiling is motion censored or on 24/7. We also have a 110 outlet in the right hand side, the bottom of it. Pretty good size shelving. There's 3 shelves in there, plus the floor. When we close the door, the light will go off on its own, but the locking mechanism is right up underneath here. Comes up, locks in place. Refrigerator and freezer is next. The controls for the refrigerator is in the lower right hand corner in the refrigerator section. It's got a little frost up in top already, good and cold inside. We're going to come over to the microwave. On the microwave, it should have a clock button on it. Let's say it's 10:30. Hit that clock button again till the 2 center eyes is flashing. The only reason I set the time on the microwave is you can tell if the trailer's lost 110 power coming to it if it doesn't have the proper time. We do have a light for the stove top, and a fan to pull smoke from the inside out, as long as the vent on the outside is in the open position. Here again, we're going to lift the glass stove top up 2 times, up out of the way. We're going to turn our illumination button for the valves. When you turn the valve to the light position, the valve turns red, indicating that it has gas coming through it. Must have turned the gas back off up front. Does have the same way with your oven button. You turn the oven to the pilot on position, hold down on the button using the same striker on the left hand side for lighting the oven. Let the pilot burn on the oven for just about a minute's time. Let it heat the thermocoupler up right above it. Then you can dial it up to the temperature you want. If you turn the button to the down position, you'll also have a light down in the oven so you can see what you're baking. It has a pretty good size storage drawer underneath it for pots and pans. The 2 lights above the sink have to be turned on by hand. They both have a little button in there. We do have a 110 outlet on the right hand side of the sink that is also protected by the GFI outlet in the breaker box. 2 sets of keys for the trailer. Purple key does the lock and deadbolt on the front door. The black key does your 2 front slam locks on the front of the trailer, and then you have a 751 key for your outside shower. All the rest of the paperwork that was found in the trailer is in this bag right here. It does have an extender on the side of the sink that lifts up. But before you run the slide room in and out, this has to go back down into the down position. Lift up on the little handle right there, slides right back down in place. We're going to come to the thermostat. We still have another 110 outlet on the left-hand side of the sink too, that is also protected by the GFI outlet in the bathroom. We're going to turn it on. First thing it gives you is your fan speed low, fan speed high, cool, cool low, cool auto, and cool high, and then you'll dial your temperature down for the AC. Hit that mode button one more time. It has heat in the lower left hand corner. You'll dial your temperature up for it. Hit that mode button one more time and it says off in the lower right hand corner. Just inside the bedroom on the left hand side, there's a switch on the wall that turns the 2 lights at the foot of the bed on. There is a place for a TV on the upper left-hand side, off-door side of the unit. A 110 outlet to plug it into, and also a Park cable hookup or antenna hookup up there at the top. It does have a backer board in the wall for adding the TV to it. We also have a fire escape window on the off-door side. Pull the little red handle on the screen, the little red handle on the window opens and slides all the way through the center. At the headboard of the bed, the 2 lights have to be turned on by hand, but we do have a 110 outlet on either side of the bed and a USB port on either side of the bed for CPAPs or other devices charging. Pretty good sized cabinet space, closet space on right and left hand side of the unit. Cabinet space right above that for extra pillows and blankets. And then underneath the mattress, there's a pretty good sized storage bin underneath there. A lot of extra goodies can be hid out of the way.
Snacks.
Snacks.
Hide your snacks.
Hide your snacks. You better hide them around me. As we start down this side here, oh, it does also have a sliding door that blocks the master bedroom off from the kitchen area. But as we come down through here, the light above the table has a little push button in the front that turns it on. We have 2 big windows either side behind the table and the recliners. Both of them can be used for a fire escape window. I'm going to pull that back down to cover them legs up right there. The tabletop comes off the pedestals, goes between the 2 benches. The 2 back sides of the cushions come over the top of the table to make a smaller bed area there. We also have pretty good sized storage underneath each one of the benches. The 2 lights, before I get too far. We have a smoke detector in the trailer. For any reason it'd be a little smoky inside here, especially the first time you burn the furnace, sometimes that smoke alarm goes off. There is push buttons on the lights above the recliners. We do have a fire escape window behind the recliners since that's kind of like a bedded area. But you also have the little white stickers on the side of the cup. Double tap. The light comes on the cup holder and underneath the seat. In the console of this recliners, it's a good place for the remotes. But there is also a USB port on the center for charging your cell phones while you're watching your TVs. We're going to go back to the bathroom area. It does have another sliding door that blocks the bathroom from the living room area off. As we come inside the bathroom, there's a switch on the right-hand side of the wall. Your showers, just like your normal shower at home, has hot water on the left side, cold water on the right side. And if you take the two screws out of this panel here, will access you into the back of the hot water heater. The brown bin on the cabinet right below it brings heat into the bathroom area. The round bin in the ceiling that's white brings you air conditioning into the bathroom area. We do have a knurled knob on the vent at the top. Lifts up. Little black button turns the fan on for pulling the moisture out while you're taking a shower. As we slide over to this side here, it does have another 110 outlet. It is also GFI protected by the outlet in the breaker box. In the lower cabinet here, there's two screws in the panel. Take them two screws out, accesses you into the back of the water pump and your water fill compartment. Already has a bypass on the back of the water pump, a one valve setup. The valve is in the position to be normally used, pulling water from the tank to the pump to the faucets right now. When you get ready to winterize, that valve gets turned sideways, which allows it to pull from the end of the hose with the cap on it for winterizing the trailer. Has a single foot flush on the right hand side of the toilet. Instructions for it on the lid here in the back. Fill halfway full of water. Push all the way down, fills and dumps. Pretty good sized cabinet space on the left hand side of the sink. Little closet up top. 3 drawers right down below that. And then we're going to come back to the breaker box. On the breaker box, you push the button in the center of it. It comes down. The breakers are marked from left to right exactly what they are. 12-volt car fuses from top to bottom are marked from the top to bottom on this side here, with the 3 top holes being empty in case you wanted to add another 12-volt appliance to any of the trailers. But they are marked and labeled exactly what they are. And your GFI outlet is the far one on the right hand side. It has a little red reset button right on the front of it. On your car fuses, any reason one of those would blow, there'll be a red light on the right hand side that comes on, indicating that the fuse that's by is blowed. On your air conditioner, it does have the quick cool down on either end. You can open up, lets all the cold air come right down into the kitchen living room area. When it gets cool enough, you can flip that back off to the side and it will go back to the round white vents in the ceiling. And that's basically everything on your trailer. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer your questions to the best of my ability. Thank you for your time.